Right now, you can use the same web browser, the same web server, anywhere on the internet. Whether you're in China, in America, in South Africa, it doesn't matter. Everything can talk to everything, and everyone can basically using the same language there. And of course, there is always a risk that at some point, a certain area of the internet sort of like starts to speak their private language.
Dirk, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thank you for joining us here at Go Open. And from all of us here, have a wonderful day.
I'm kidding. I was kidding. It's a joke. Here's a story to warm your little heart. Gail Reid hated school, but she came back, and with the help of the Shuttleworth Foundation, she transformed her old primary school into a technological marvel. Wonderful.
Kensington is a quiet, working-class suburb in Cape Town, which managed to escape much of the turmoil of the apartheid years. One of its most successful children is Gail Reid, who cut her teeth in the field of computer supplies. 2 years ago, she and her husband founded their own business in Johannesburg.
It was daunting. It was good nerves. I knew that that was going to be, after 5 years, I knew that I wanted to start my own company.
Gail's company has gone from strength to strength, but she hasn't forgotten her roots.
Hello. I can't remember any uprising in this area, and to me it just seemed as a child it was a normal upbringing. We didn't know how it was going to affect us.
Gail was schooled at Windermere Primary School in Kensington. When she was a child, the school had no library. Last year, she donated 120,000 rand to start a library and create a computer lab, but the school needed help to set it up.
We heard about the Shuttleworth Foundation that was assisting schools. We then applied, and within no time I think we were responded to, and the response was very positive, as you can see. They walked in here at about 9:20, and they told us, right, we're going to get started. We went into the corridor, I rolled out the cables, children were hands-on, everybody was involved, and it was amazing for me to see that within the space of less than 3 hours, we had all these computers, all of them were up and running, and it was all systems go.
Part of why I got interested in the project is because I wanted kids to have a different learning experience and also be prepared for what's out there.
The Tux Labs project is placing computer labs in schools across the Western Cape. In keeping with the philosophy of building on existing resources, refurbished computers are often used, running free of charge software. Volunteers are often sought within the school to create a culture of involvement and ownership. This has proved to be a very cost-effective method of deploying IT in schools.
When I spoke to the co-sponsor of this particular lab, she had 120,000 and set up 10 computers in this particular lab. They were also under understanding that they should buy the proprietary-based licenses, which was not included in that particular budget. So the cost would have been higher.
Open source software solved that problem, as Tux Labs always installs a free-of-charge version of Linux. And the Tux Labs boffins were able to bring in cheaper, refurbished computers running on a thin client network, with just one powerful server doing all the hard work. Instead of 10 workstations, they were able to install 40, with money left over for library books.
People will realize that these things are not really sort of door stoppers, you know. You can turn them into workstations and make a real impact in a child's life.
I knew that should the school have PCs available to the kids, it would just open up their world a bit more.
You don't have to be a school to benefit from free software. Oh no, no way. Mighty businesses need enormous, vast, huge suites of Office applications, and many of them will pay for them, but some won't. Mark Shuttleworth is doing it with OpenOffice.
Today we'll be doing it with OpenOffice. OpenOffice is a business productivity suite, so it has several different pieces of functionality built into one piece of software. It has a word processor for creating documents, a spreadsheet for working with mathematical functions and tracking business expenses, and it has a presentation package that will allow you to give presentations. Today we're only going to touch on two of those pieces of functionality, the word processor and the spreadsheet. I use OpenOffice every single day. That's how I exchange business documents with colleagues here in South Africa and all over the world. No matter what software they're using to write those documents, I can usually exchange my documents with them without any trouble at all.
Creating a text document is exactly the same as how you're used to doing it. in whichever word processor you currently use. It's feature-rich and offers you a host of templates to choose from. What's more, it's fully compatible with all of the popular word processing packages you currently spend money on. The spreadsheet component of OpenOffice is equally familiar. You won't even realize that this spreadsheet isn't the one you've been using all your life. It has all the expected formula functions, and creating charts from your tables is a cinch. One major advantage of OpenOffice is the price. It's completely free, and because it's open source, developers are continually improving it, making it a very stable package.
You can find out more about OpenOffice at its website, www.openoffice.org. It's freely available and runs on Windows, on the Mac, and also on Linux.
You see, that's the good thing about OpenOffice. It's free, and it's free. It's free in both senses of the word. But if you're some big company that needs to spend lots of money, like thousands and thousands, get the free OpenOffice and give the thousands to a school that needs the money, and everyone wins. They get the money, and you get to say, I spent the money. So everyone's a winner. It's fantastic. Now, coming up as a man, a geek really, he's sort of like a guy, but kind of different in a way that he likes to be. He knows all about FreeBSD, which is very exciting. It's like all the bad things without the penicillin. In the meanwhile, keep your trigger finger happy, because you need to SMS us so you can win the competition and get the thing with the thing that's got the thing. So that's going to be huge. Neil Blakey Milner. Welcome, Neil. When you say that there's freedom, or that there is, let's say, the free software kind of movement, let's just define that for people who may think that just means that there's no money changing it.
When you receive something, you should be free to use it for anything you feel like, for example. You should be free to give it to someone if you feel like it. You should be free to change it. And to be able to change it, you need to be free to have the source code for it.
How do you make money from open source?
There are a few companies who try and work entirely around services. So they provide something, they develop it all in-house, and they provide support around it.
Okay, so in your ideal world, how would software exist?
I don't see proprietary software disappearing. I don't think there's necessarily a need it should disappear. It fills a whole bunch of specific niche areas very well, especially small areas of science, things that are really hard technically, the things that you don't want to talk about, like the routers and the networks and all the rest of it. Open source makes a lot of sense.
Neil, it's not as simple as just having sort of, open source and that's it. Obviously within open source there are different areas of thought. Yeah. Can you just explain FreeBSD?
For me, the philosophy of FreeBSD really is providing something for anyone to do anything with for any purpose whatsoever, without any restrictions. The minimum requirements really are that you have to tell people that when you distribute the code that you are the author, and that when you distribute, if you use the code, then you can't come and sue me.
What are the sort of achievements that have happened because of this freedom?
Well, I mean, the biggest example really is probably the Mac OS X operating system by Apple. They took a very serious change in architecture, and to achieve that by writing the whole thing themselves would have just been an insane endeavor. And so they used a lot of programs that are available in FreeBSD and things around that as part of their operating system. So, and as a FreeBSD developer, as someone who's contributed code to it, there's a very good chance that the code that I've worked on might be available to millions of people around the world, not just techies and geeks and so forth.
Okay, cool. That's very good.
Thank you.
It's almost that time again. Winner time. Yes, I'm talking to you, the big winner. But first, get your browser to these web addresses.
So, what's on the web today? Well, if you're looking for a bit of local flavor, Alistair Otter's Tectonic website is Africa's source for open source news. And it's exactly what the name implies. Up-to-the-minute news and information on what's hot in the world of open source right in your own backyard. So head to www.tectonic.co.za. And if the news is too good and you want to channel your excitement, there's only one site to surf to. happypenguin.org is the place to download free games for Linux. You can search the archives in a variety of ways, or you can take potluck with the games displayed on the front page. With user rankings, you'll never download another dud. One of the most addictive games in the world is Pingus, a free version of Lemmings. All you need to do is type Pingus into the Happy Penguin search box and download the game for free. Now this is an action-packed puzzle game that'll pit your wits against nature. Everything that's hot and happening on Africa's open source scene is at www.tectonic.co.za, and you can download all the games you'll ever need at happypenguin.org, especially Pingus, free game that's easy for you to download.
It's time for the competition. Fantastic prizes this week. Jeans from Soviet, you've used a 17-inch flat-screen monitor from LG, some DVD drives, and also a package from HP that's got a fantastic camera and an even better printer, and altogether it's called the Photo Smart Suite. It's fantastic. All you have to do is answer the simple question: Mark Shuttleworth went to space in the Apollo, the Shuttle, or the Soyuz? That's the Russian one. Okay. SMS your answer to the number on the screen. I believe that's 34357. And remember, it's £2 an SMS. And the winners of last week's competition are...
Willem van der Walt wins a 17-inch LG monitor. Elise van Zyl and Balan Moodley win LG DVD drives. William Ledwaba and Francois Hugo receive R1,000 Soviet vouchers each. And Marina Grief wins an HP digital camera and printer. Congratulations!
Okay, next week join us as we walk along some controversial territory. We find out about intellectual property, who actually owns the things that come trickling out of your head. But not only that, we also talk to the man who took on the Disney Corporation, and we meet a music CD that not only are you allowed to copy, but that you're supposed to copy. I don't know. It's so crazy it just might work. Only on Go Open. See you next week.